Benjamin Sesko has been impressing in his last couple of games for Manchester United, with 2 goals in 2 games heading to Anfield. Surely it's an opportunity to, point out his progress, discuss where he can still develop. Never mind, turns out the opposite is true. I'm coming out swinging here defending Sesko because A, I think he deserves it, and B, if media outlets want to try and slap a United player down and find an angle, then they should be prepared for a response. Here goes. So I want to have a conversation here about Benjamin Sesko, about, I don't know, maybe Florian Wirtz, maybe Alexander Isak, or even James Trafford. Because the Athletic have published something this morning which I found really, really strange. And this is from an outlet that I really do respect, largely. Maybe it's international break, maybe it's slow news day. Whatever it is, I want to stand and defend my player in this video. And that's something that I will always do on this channel. Like, people sometimes have a go at me for being delusional and blindly supporting. I won't ever blindly support a player or a manager, but I will always take the position to defend them if I feel like they deserve to be defended. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here, and roll my sleeves up and just pick apart this. Because if you haven't seen it, let me explain what it is. The Athletic have released an article this morning, which is an agent survey, asking 20 agents what was the worst deal in the transfer window. Now, I'll give you 2 seconds. Who do you think tops that list, and who do you think's at the bottom of it? Benjamin Sesko is top of that list. That was the worst deal of the window. Whilst Wirtz and Isak sit at the bottom. And the first thing I want to say about this is, who gives a crap what agents think in terms of what was the best and worst deal of the window? They are part of the scorn of modern football. No, the scorn? No, wrong way to describe them. The cancer of modern football. I hate agents. I hate everything they stand for. But Sesko topping that list, I was like, it's right, it must be a bit clickbait just in the article. No, let's actually dive into what the article says. Way too much money and too soon. They were pressurised into making that signing. A lot of money for not much of a pedigree. They're speaking about Sesko here. Now, before I even speak about Wirtz, before I even speak about Isak, James Trafford to City was by far and away the worst deal that happened this window. City screwed him over. They literally went out and signed, what's his face, Donnarumma. Great, but no. Twice as many agents apparently thought that Sesko's deal was worse. But moving on from him, and speaking about the worst deals, all right? And it is just, there's a couple of things I want to say here about how United players, what this kind of just feels like to me as a United fan is like, oh, so Sesko's doing quite well, isn't he? He's got 2 in 2. I'm not, obviously they wouldn't do an Arsenal, maybe they would. How can we find an angle on Sesko? Should we ask some agents? Yeah, go on. I can't speak about his football because they're just playing quite well now. Wirtz for £116 million. And you want to quote, speak about way too much money and too soon. You want to speak about being pressurised into making that signing? You want to be speaking about a lot of money for not much pedigree? I think you want to go and talk about Wirtz for 116 mil. But as I said, this is an article that The Athletic did a while ago. October the 4th, the 007 insult. And why is it an unfair way to judge new players? If you don't know what that 007 insult is, it kind of started from this. It was Sancho, his first 7 games for United, no goals, no assists. And then Sky Sports Germany made a meme of him as 007. And then it became the sort of 007 meme. And I find it a little bit annoying, really. But as long as it's not a United player, then it's a bit unfair. Do you know what that's all part and parcel of right now? It's because of where Liverpool are on the table. If United were second in the table, the media and everybody is just more forgiving to them. Forgiving to players. If you're down there in 10th, everything can be exacerbated and pulled out as a problem. And it is Manchester United. And then moving on from Wirtz, let's speak about Isak, who I still think will come good at Liverpool, unfortunately. I still think it is a good signing. But my word, has he been starting slow. And this is from a player that wasn't supposed to start slow at all. That's why he paid a premium of signing a player who is Premier League established. Of course, we're going up against both of these players this week. But it's just, I find it almost laughable that after Sesko's actually managed to score 2 in 2, and I did a video yesterday, we've been working on it for a few days behind the scenes, sort of praising his performances, praising how he's actually settled in. It was a slow start because Amorim didn't start him. He started him against Grimsby, but he's hardly started a Premier League game for a while. And now he's slowly introducing himself and he's gaining more and more confidence. And it's at that time that The Athletic drops an agent survey that's ranking Sesko as the worst deal to happen this summer. Like, of course they think that Wirtz and Isak deals are great because they were 116 mil and 125 mil, and agents would have made an absolute packet off those. So as far as agents concerned, the more expensive the deal is, the better it is. They'll probably say that Nicolas Pepe to Arsenal was a great deal. Mate, it was an awful transfer. You would have made a bucket load of money, though, in commission. So it's a great deal. It's a really strange article for The Athletic to produce. And you might come at me and say, well, hold on, Sam, it's a bit weird that you're getting... I'm not personally offended by this. But it's just a position I will always have on this channel. And it's a position why I've probably sort of sometimes fall out with not really United fans, or maybe some United fans. They call me delusional. The media's always been part and parcel of football fandom. Now, back in the day, you could easily turn your TV off. You could easily just close the one newspaper that had the article. But nowadays, you can't do that. And it's rife. And the 007 memes are there. And anything to do with worst transfers of the summer are there. And it's just... I feel like with the platform that we've got here at United People's TV, if you're going to get major outlets doing stuff like that, we have a platform here to give a rebuttal, to defend our players that deserve to be defended. And in a list like that, Sesko deserves to be absolutely nowhere near the top of it. Who would I have as my top 3? I'd have James Trafford as easily the worst deal that happened this summer. And I'll be honest, Wirtz is up there. Like, for that much money on a midfielder who clearly, from a physical perspective, is just not there. And I'm sure he'll develop and improve across it. Hey, he might even score against United, and then people are going to pull out clips of this video. I don't know. But for 116 mil, you don't sign someone that you're allowed to settle in for a year. You sign someone who's going to, bam, make an immediate impact on your team. And neither of those signings at Liverpool have made any sort of immediate impact. But apparently, Sesko is 6 times worse than both of them. It's just a strange one. And I think he deserves defending. And it's just something I wanted to call out. You can let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, I genuinely can't believe that he's been chosen ahead of Wirtz in this conversation. It's almost laughable. It is laughable.